Let me show you the proper way and the ethical way to measure your DC voltage with your digital multimeter. I have the auto range digital multimeter and the manual range digital multimeter. I don't have an analog multimeter. I don't know who used to use this analog multimeter in big 2026. So I have a battery here that we're going to be measuring, and I also have a boost converter. And this boost converter has a variable resistor over here. So with this resistor, I can vary the voltage on the output of the boost converter. So this will give us a very wide range of voltage that we can measure to test how each of the ranges on the manual range multimeter works and how the auto range works. So what I would prefer to do is to be measuring the voltage simultaneously side by side. But I have an issue. I only have one probe here, so I'll just be using this cable for one of the meter. And I don't know which of the meter to give this probe, but as it is, auto range wins. So auto range will go with the probe because this one now Baba, this one now for learners and beginners, right? So I'm going to use the cable on this one directly, but don't do this. So go and get your probe and get original probe, not even this type of probe. This is not an original probe. If I see the picture, I'll put it on the screen, or I'll make a video and show you how to know original probe to get for your meter. This is not even close to an original probe, because when we get to how to test current, you will start having issues with this kind of probe. And that's how we can also tell if your solar panel is rated correctly or they've changed the label or the sticker on the solar panel. So when we get to that part, I will show you. So this is the negative from the output here, and let me just put it here on the negative side, and this is the positive side. Okay, I think the first thing I even need to show you is where and where to plug your probes on the multimeter. So if you notice, you have 4 terminals here, and also on the auto range you also have 4 terminals. Both of them are labeled typically the same thing, so I can show you with one. So if you look closely, you have the black one, you have the red one, and you have additional 2 red ones. And if you look at the arrows, the markings, you see that the black one goes to this red one, it also goes to this one, it also goes to this one, which means this black one is common. This is where your black probe would enter and will stay. Then, depending on what you are reading, you will now determine if your probe will go to this part or to this part or to this part. When your probe needs to go here is when you are reading current, which we are going to be treating very soon. But for now, we are trying to use the voltage meter in this multimeter, so we are going to this particular position. If you look closely, you see that they labeled it with all the meters connected to this particular socket for the probe. You can see voltage. I don't know if this is clear. You can see voltage, you can see resistance, frequency, diode, capacitor, and temperature. And all these meters here, you can as well see them over here. So when you're using them, they're on this position. But for this position is now for current. They describe it here. One is for smaller current, one is for bigger current. We are going to treat all that very soon. So first thing first, let's even measure the battery we want to use for this test. Then we'll connect the battery to this boost converter. This is a boost converter. Boost converter is simply a device that can transform a voltage from a smaller voltage to a bigger voltage using current in exchange. Remember, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be transformed from one form to another. So as it is boosting the voltage from a smaller voltage to a bigger voltage, it is taking something. It is not just boosting it out of a thin air. So it uses the current of that power supply to achieve more voltage that will power necessarily whatever you want to power with that particular voltage. So this will give us a wider range. First thing first is even to check the voltage of the battery. So on the multimeter, we'll go to the battery. So on the multimeter, we'll go to the DC voltage. So this is the sign of DC, and V represents voltage, and we'll switch the multimeter to that position. This is where power man picking the suffer small. So you see that on the auto range, because we want to test or read the voltage of a battery, we already know that this is a DC voltage. This is a battery, right? Direct current. We just put it to DC. Bam. But for the manual range, you now have ranges of numbers here. You now have to select the particular one you need for your testing. And because you know that this is a battery. This is a battery cell, 3.7 volts. So full charge is 4.2 volts. You know that whatever you're measuring is below 20 volts. So ideally you select what? 20 volts. You can't select 2 volts. I think it has 2 volts, but yes, it has 2 volts. So you can't select 2 volts because the battery voltage is higher than 2 volts. When you select 2 volts, try to read the battery. It won't read. I will show you what will happen when we try to do that. I don't know if it affects meter in any way, but to be on the safer side, when you want to read the voltage and not sure of, you start with the maximum here, which is 1000 volts. When you read the voltage, you now see the range where the voltage is. You can now step down to get higher precision. But on the auto range, the meter does all those mathematics for you. Just plug and you get the voltage you want to get. So we'll read with the auto range first. And one beautiful thing about digital multimeters is you don't need the polarity, right? Unlike the analog one. If we're using an analog meter, this is the positive terminal of this battery, this is the negative terminal of this battery. If we put our positive probe here and our negative probe on this side, the analog meter won't go up. It will try to go out of the meter. It will try to knock out the meter glass, you know, so that dangling arrow will be going left, so it won't read anything. But for digital multimeters, it would actually read, and by the side here you can see a negative sign. If your probe is reversed, saying that that place where your negative probe is actually where the positive of that power source is, you understand? So digital multimeter does that for you. It doesn't matter if you are putting it this way or this way. But one other thing you also need to pay attention to is when you're using cheap multimeters like this and you reverse the probe, the voltage are usually not complete. So instead of reading, let's say 3.72 volts, it will now read 3.67 volts or 3.68 volts. I don't know why it does that, but good meters, it will still give you the accurate voltage and it will show it is on the negative side. So if you're using a cheap meter, always ensure that you put the probe right so that you can still get at least close to accurate reading from your multimeter. So to read the battery voltage, we just put the probe here, which is the positive terminal, and on this other end the negative terminal. Auto range will do its thing. So let me keep it firm. Hold on. So it is firm. Oh, sorry. I don't know why my hand is shaking. I've not eaten today. Okay, this is good. So we have 3 points. Hold on. Let's just give it a moment. Okay, 4.107. So it's automatically, it has switched to 3 decimal places, giving us higher precision. 4.108 volts for this battery. If we are to use the digital manual range, let me put this probe to this end to read the same battery. Like I mentioned, let's say we don't know the voltage of this battery we want to read. We will switch it to 1000 volts, right? And we'll take our reading. It will give us, it is giving 3 volts. So we know that this battery is below 20 volts. Then we will now switch down to 20 to get a higher precision. So we are at 20 volts on the multimeter. Let me get it closer so you see. So we are at 20 now. So with this 20, we can read any voltage below 20. And if I put it back, we are getting how many? Oh, the probe is now touching the terminal as well. We are getting 4.10. You see the precision I'm talking about. This was giving us 3 decimal places and this was giving us only 2 decimal places. And from here, we're able to see that it was 4.108. But this is only showing us 4.10. You get the difference now with the precision. And with this, we can't even go down to 2 volts so that we will get that 3 decimal places because this battery is above 2 volts. So let me show you what will happen if we put it on 2 volts. Now that I put it on 2 volts, if I put the probe back to the battery, let's see what happens. It is showing 0L. It won't read the voltage, so you have to increase it to a meter above the voltage of the battery we want to read. And secondly, let me move back to the auto range. So let's even reverse the probe. So I put the positive probe on the negative terminal and the negative probe on the positive terminal. If you look at the multimeter, it is now showing a negative sign, 4.108. That same voltage, it is showing negative sign on this end to show you that this probe is actually on the negative terminal. Now that you've understand this, so let's plug in our voltage booster and get a wider range of voltage just to play around with the voltmeter on our multimeter. So let me hook this up quickly. So we have the probe now on the negative and the positive side, and currently they are at 0 volts. So let's plug in our battery. Let me get it closer. So we are getting 14.50 on this and 14.55 on this. So I would always take the reading on this meter over this meter. Now let's vary it and see how both of them raise the voltage. So I can vary the voltage from this point over here. I think I should get it closer. Okay, so let me vary from here. Hold on, let me get it. So am I going higher or lower? Is this higher or this is lower? Let me go higher. Let's even see the maximum I can get from this volt. You know, this battery was 4.1 volts, but from this boost converter we are getting 14 volts out of this already. So let me keep going higher. Let's see how many volts we can get to. Currently we are at 16 volts. So let me keep going higher. Let's see how many we can get to. We are at 17 volts. This is 18 volts, 19, 20 volts. So you notice this is now showing 0 early because the voltage has surpassed the 20 voltmeter we are on currently. So we have to move to 200. Right, so now we move to 200. You notice that we only have in how many decimal places now? Only one decimal place. While on the auto range, we are still having what? 2 decimal places, which means more precision, higher precision than this. So the probes are shaking. So let me keep this guy stable. So we are at how many now? We are at 21 point. What was written over here? 21.06, and this is giving us 21 volts. So this is giving us in 2 decimal places, and this just on 1 decimal place. So let me keep increasing. I want to see the maximum voltage I can get out of this boost converter. Currently we are at, how many volts is this? 23. Let me screw it faster. Let's see what we can get to. This is 27. I think this is the maximum. It is no longer increasing. So this is the maximum voltage you could get from this. Let me get the meter closer. We are getting 27.35 volts from the boost converter. And if you notice, there is nothing else here. Let me get these 2 guys on. So these are the cables, these are the meters, this is the battery. So from this 4.1 volt battery, we are getting up to 27 volts from the output of this boost converter. There's actually a lot to explain. I also need to explain to you how this thing is converting this 4.1 volts battery to 27.3 volts. What exactly is going on here? What all these components you are seeing over here are doing, and how this voltage here is actually possible. But that will be on the coming videos. Or can also let me on the comment section if I should go into this proper. And if you've not followed me, I don't know what you are still waiting for. Up to this point, if you've not clicked that follow button, share this video to anybody you know it can be useful to. If you are trying to get a multimeter, now you can see the difference of the voltage meter of the manual range and the auto range digital multimeter, so you can make your choice now. And if you learned something, make sure you click that follow button, save this video, in fact reshare it and share it to anybody you know it can be useful to, and see you on the next video.